Please welcome Mario Rodriguez.
Hello, everyone. Thank you and good morning. That was an incredible keynote, and we're following that up by focusing on you, our enterprise developers, and our enterprise customers as well. Those admins, we see you, we honor you as well. A few weeks ago, I was with the CTO, and she showed me her company's How We Work playbook. You know, those are rituals, and they're pages filled with how they plan, how they code, how they review, and how they release together. And during that conversation, she said something. She looked at me, and she's like, Mario, this needs a new AI chapter. What should it say? And that question stayed with me a little bit. Because as you saw in the keynote, the next chapter is actually fueled by collaboration of both developers and agents. And that collaboration changes everything. And it's not just one chapter, right? Like as I was thinking about this question, as I was preparing to answer to her, the thought came out, it's just not one chapter. I think it's a new book. It's a new book where agentic development is fundamentally changing how we work. For me, this is not a technology transformation. AI and LLMs are the technology, yes, but really what is happening is a change on how we work and how we unlock value and how we rewrite how we together collaborate. And as you heard before, that necessitates new tools and an evolution of what actually exists to make sure that developers and agents come together. And GitHub has done this from the start. We have been making a place where they meet, where they observe, where they propose, and they ship software together. Now, to make this possible too, and to make this platform that we announced today a reality, we have to deliver a set of enterprise controls that you demand. So if you think about it, observability is one of them. You need to see what is happening. Auditability is another one. You need to trust every action these developers and humans are making. And you need controls to stay in command, and you need to customize it to make it your own. All of you are unique, and you have to customize it to make it your own. By doing all of these things is how we unlock the next set of enterprise productivity. What you care about is what we are delivering today. I call it enterprise-grade, agent-ready. So today we'll have 3 demos. First, how custom agents can transform your whole SDLC and collaborate with developers. I want you to see the productivity potential. Like, I want you to feel it. Second, metrics, to measure your outcomes. The whole garden, and we're going to be talking more about that, the whole garden, not just the gardeners in there. So I want you to see through that demo how your productivity gets improved and it increases, and how you start delivering business value. And lastly, how to govern agents, because you need trust to be able to do this at scale. Coming back to that enterprise-grade, agent-ready, and a whole new foundation on how we work. Now, what I want to do, since we are developers and we're enterprise, I want to bring in Kate to actually start this and bring that potential to life. Kate? Let's go.
Hey. Hey everyone, I'm Kate. I'm a Copilot PM here, and I am so excited to talk to you about custom agents because I believe this is the most important thing we are shipping at GitHub Universe. Why do I think that? Because you all are going to have this solve your biggest problem. And we know this because we went to our customer advisory board and we said, please rank your priorities, rank your needs. And we said, what rises to the top? And do you know what it was? You all told us that you want your software developers to spend less time on these like rote, repetitive tasks and more time being creative, more time being inventive, and more time doing the things that actually bring them energy. Meanwhile, GitHub is over here, and we're thinking about the future across the entire software development lifecycle. So how do we help you go from idea to deploy? And at this point, we kind of have tools to help you with all of that. But custom agents are going to allow those developers to develop these really specialized agents optimized for every specific part of that lifecycle. And because each agent is purpose-built, we're building in the context, we're building in the conventions, we're building in the tool sets so that it actually does it in the right way. So your quality goes up, your prompting friction goes down, etc. And that's not all, because you can take these custom agents and you can define them at the repo level, but you can also define them at the org level or all the way up top at the enterprise level. And every single level that it's at, you're baking in your security standards, you're baking in compliance, and you're baking in the values that are important to you. So it's kind of like taking some expertise and bottling it up, and then just like sharing that across every team instead of making them reinvent the wheel. So I'm obviously really excited about this. GitHub is really excited about this. And we shared this with some of our partners, and they were really excited about this. So we said, what would you do with custom agents? Tell us what you would do with this. And they came up with some ideas that absolutely blew us away, like right out of the gate. So I'm going to walk you through 6 of these examples. So like take your seatbelt and buckle up, and we're going to go on a little bit of a ride. And this first one is from our partners at Amplitude. So you all know Amplitude. It's a very cool website. They track how folks move through your website, and they give you some like cool graphs and data and stuff. So they've got a bunch of this data. And what they're going to help you do is go from idea to deploy. So I'm actually going to jump on a laptop and start to show you how that's done. Important first step. I did not actually write this PRD. Because Amplitude has all that data, what you can do is now click a button within Amplitude, and it generates an idea for an A/B test for you. So that's how we got to this PRD. But now this custom agent is going to take it from issue all the way to deploy, and I will show you how that happens. I just click Assign to Copilot, and then I select the Amplitude custom agent, and I assign it. And that's it. And what you're going to see now is that it's going to quickly assign Copilot to this issue, and then it's going to open a pull request, and we could watch this whole thing go through end to end, but we are too excited. So instead, we're going to jump over to a pre-baked run that has already gone through. So this is exactly the same issue and the exact same custom agent, and I'm going to show you what makes this custom. So the first thing it did, look at this. It starts by opening the Playwright MCP server. That's because it knows that what you're going to do is ship an experiment, and so it knows you're going to want screenshots of like what's the before and what's the after, and Playwright is really good for that. So as part of this custom agent, we know to open that. And then next up, we have the GitHub MCP server. That's classic. And then after that, we have the Amplitude-specific MCP server, because remember, this is an Amplitude experiment, so we want to bake in that whole tool set. And then we're going to like scroll down, scroll down. OK, and then it's calling to get context. And basically all this is doing is using that Amplitude MCP to call out to Amplitude and be like, hey, what project should this be in? So we've got that. And then we've got call to get experiments. This is where it's calling out to Amplitude again and saying like, we're making a new experiment. Open a new experiment. So then it's doing that. And then we've got some summary. And then we're still scrolling because I'm looking for something really specific. Aha, we found it. OK, last but not least, as part of custom agents, we've baked in a CodeQL run. So what we've done is taken our years of experience with security products, and we've like taken all that expertise and made it part of your custom agent run so that at the end of all this, you are shipping code as safely as you can with any custom agent run. So that is important. And now look where we've landed. This experiment URL is like, it's fully generated. The experiment is live in Amplitude, and we can start to watch those numbers go through. So what did we do here? We started with a GitHub issue. we went from the idea to the code to the actual verification step. And then you would go and deploy it through Amplitude. And this custom agent knew how to do every single step of that, despite the fact that it was on all these third-party tools, because you gave it instructions to do so. OK, let's do like a mini polite applause for that one. Awesome. OK, next up, we're going to do our second example from ARM. So they made a custom agent that helps you take a repository and migrate it so it goes from x86 conventions to ARM compatibility. And this time we're going to actually show you how this works through the CLI, just to mix it up. So here we are in the CLI. I've got a specific repository open, and I've already started the Copilot CLI. So now what I'm going to do is just do /agent. And I'm going to select this ARM migration agent. This is our custom agent that we made for this process. And then I'm just going to say, hey, migrate this entire repo to be ARM compatible. And then I'm going to press go. And that's it. And it's already got all the expertise to get this done. And again, we could watch this whole thing happen. But we got more to show you. So let's do another little mini round of applause. I saw someone give a woo, so all right. OK. So for this next one, we're going to kind of mix it up a little bit. And now we're going to talk about a pretend company that doesn't exist. So let's pretend that I work for an astronomy company. And at this company, we do star stuff. And I don't know that much about astronomy, so that's all I have to say about that. But what I do know is that this enterprise has 400 orgs and 1,000 repositories per org. That might sound familiar to some of you. But I want to make sure that every single time we do star stuff, we generate a UI that looks like this, and we have access to developer tooling that looks like this, so that you can really easily adjust, the total stars and the twinkle speed and the sparkle intensity, et cetera. So I don't want just one team in those thousands of repositories to have this. I want everybody to have this. So that's where custom agents come in. And now I'm going to show you, we're gonna make this custom agent in real time. So here's what we're going to do. We wrote this out beforehand, so I have to copy it. All right, now we're in VS Code. This is where your developers live all day. So normally down here, you would type in some instructions here in the chat, but we want to use a custom agent, right? So instead of selecting normal agent, we can see here what custom agents we have available to us. Oh, Shazam custom agent. I wonder what that is. Maybe we'll come back to it in a few minutes. Hold that thought. Because right now, we're going to create a totally different agent. So I have to do configure agents here, create a new custom agent, agents, Kate, Sparkle, agent. OK, and that created that there. And then I'm just going to paste this text in. OK, and then I'm going to save it. And that should be it. Should we see if it worked? Dun, 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 dun. Now in my list of potential agents, I have Kate Sparkle agent. That's all I had to do. And I want you all to look at what we've got here. Raise your hand if you see any linear algebra. OK, no hands. There's no linear algebra. There's no advanced statistics. You don't have to do any math to create a custom agent. It's just Markdown. Where we're going, we don't need math. So all you need to do is write this out. And then we do a bunch of fancy stuff on the back end for you. But you just write Markdown. Literally anyone in your organization could make a custom agent with this kind of format. Exciting, right? So now we're going to see if this actually worked and created something again. Somebody shout out a constellation that you like. Mm-hmm. There we go. Mm-hmm. Please hold, because I was not expecting this. OK, cool. Sorry, someone shouted one out and I didn't hear it. What was it? Orion. OK, create a new HTML file that shows Orion's belt. Now we're going to wait for a second. But it's actually going to be pretty fast. And what it's going to do is generate a new HTML file that's going to look exactly like the one that we already showed you. That's how easy this is going to be. Okay, look at that. It already created. Keep it. Over here. This is looking good. This is looking promising. Okay, so now what we want to do is run it on localhost. And it should look the same as the other one. Okay, we're going to open this. Ta-da! Let's do another round of applause. Incredible. Okay, now we've got like 3 more examples from GitHub. So really quickly now, but before we move on, I do want to land this point. Think about this from your enterprise standpoint. Tools like that anywhere you want across your repos. Standardization of looks everywhere across the repos. That's how this can work. Okay, next up. So a few custom agents that we are already using internally at GitHub. The first one here is this fix-it agent. So this was actually written by our docs team. It's very cool. So if we have any kind of problem with our support knowledge base, this custom agent runs and it tries to fix that problem. And again, you can see it's just Markdown. This one here, this is a lot more complicated. This is an on-call buddy. So this one is very, very, very long, and there are lots of lines in it. But basically what it's doing is saying, like, hey, if we have some kind of incident and our website is down, start running Slack and looking through Slack for this specific format so we can start to diagnose this issue. And next up, we have my personal agent, or my personal favorite agent, which is the Shazam agent. Should we see how this one works? All it does is end every full sentence with Shazam. So let's say that I want to use that one, and I want to say, hey, I just gave a talk on custom agents. Respond yes or no with whether I did a great job. This is the real moment of truth. Oh, okay, but see what it said there? Shazam! Woo! It's working. And with that, I am going to give you one final slide to wrap this up. So that's custom agents. So basically what it's doing is it's taking your whole fleet of agents and it's working across your software development lifecycle to reduce developer toil. And now I'm going to turn things over to Todd, who's going to dive into how we measure the impact of those hybrid developer and agent teams. Thank you so much.
All right, hello universe, and thank you, Kate, for that incredible demo on custom agents. I am just so excited and looking forward to see what developers do with custom agents. Not because they can just handle incredible things like Shazam, but also because they can really help make sure that enterprises truly are enterprise ready. All right, so at GitHub, our vision is to be the home for all developers. And that includes developers that work in big organizations. And my job at GitHub is to make sure that our AI platform meets the governance, compliance, and security standards that enterprises expect. The progress doesn't come just from guessing. It comes from listening. And last year, I promised that we'd act on your feedback. Feedback that we've been getting for a long time. Feedback like this one from 2014, asking for us to deliver some high availability in our solutions. 16 of you actually had asked for that one. That's pretty interesting. In 2015, we got feedback asking for enterprise-level teams. And more recently, we heard the need to be able to deliver data residency, and we didn't just listen, we delivered. Last week, after months of private preview with over 100 enterprises really listening, we shipped enterprise teams, custom enterprise roles, permissions, and applications. You can now easily set up custom teams and manage those applications across your enterprise. Now, I know a lot of you are very excited for that, so don't go just making teams right now during the talk. We got a lot of really great stuff to talk through. But we're just so excited to be able to bring that into public preview for you to start using today. We also shipped data residency. We launched in the EU, we launched in Australia and in the US, and we already have thousands of customers on our data resident stamps. We also committed to FedRAMP moderate, and we're aiming for new regions like Japan in 2026. That's your feedback turned into results, and we're not slowing down. Recently, I had the opportunity to talk with a customer in Australia. And as part of our conversation, we were really talking about Copilot and what does it mean for her to adopt Copilot within the context of her enterprise. And the thing that she said to me was, look, I'm so excited about Copilot, but I need to nail those basics, those first steps on understanding how it's being adopted across my enterprise, as well as how it's impacting my code base. And that really struck me. Leaders want visibility in order to understand the system as a whole, right? To understand what's working, what's not working, where teams are getting stuck, or where they might need a little bit of help accelerating. And really, to me, that means metrics. So we're moving just from shipping controls to giving you clear insights into Copilot and adoption and usage with Copilot Metrics starting today. Designed with partners like HP, HSBC, and Lumen, the new Copilot Metrics helps you to track usage, spot patterns, and really understand business adoption, value, and organizational impact. You get a refreshed dashboard to get a quick pulse of what's happening, downloadable user-level reports that you can roll up by team or organization, like those enterprise teams we just talked about through an API. Or you can use our Metrics API for more automation or plugging into your custom dashboards. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the metrics and what we've been delivering. So the very first question I get a lot is, how much is my organization using Copilot? We bought a bunch of licenses. How many people are using it? Well, with the new metrics dashboard, that data is very obvious. As you can see here, we tell you not only how many people have used it in this past month, but we also tell you the number of daily active users as well as weekly active users. And you can see right here that we take weekends off at GitHub every now and then. But it's not just about daily usage. It's also about understanding what those users are doing with Copilot. And so we also provide how many chat requests are coming in per user, what particular chat or what particular features are actually getting those chat requests, whether it be the edit feature, or the ask feature, or the agent feature, or the custom feature. And really, this starts to provide a lot of insights into what's going on and how users within your enterprise are leveraging Copilot. Now, one of the things I'm really excited about is we have a downloadable report. And I'm just going to show you a quick way you can use that in order to understand some of the most sophisticated questions you might have. So here is the beautiful, beautiful, prettified JSON blob that represents all of the data that is available to you as part of that downloadable report. As you can see, you can get not only as you can see, you can totally get the entirety of your organization broken down by user. You can understand what IDE they're using, how many sessions and interactions that they had. They can get that information broken down by feature. You can see what particular language was being used. You can see what model was being used. All of this information is at your fingertips in order to make sure that you can really, truly understand what's going on with your enterprise. Here's a quick example of the type of question you can answer. When I was talking to that CTO, she said, I would really like to know which teams have adopted Copilot a lot in order to go and ask them what their patterns and practices were, so that I could clone those patterns and practices across my enterprise to get the most out of GitHub Copilot. And then I'd also like to know which teams are not using Copilot as much, so I can go and learn and say, hey, what's going on here? Maybe they need better prompts, maybe they need a little bit more direction, maybe they need a little bit more training. Well, what I did here was a really simple example of taking that downloadable report. Since it was in JSON, I used Copilot to put it into a nice CSV file, pulling out some of the key things I really wanted to do, threw it into my favorite data analysis tool, which was Excel, and added a power pivot table. I hope there's some other Excel lovers out there. And as you can see here, I can tell right away exactly how many, what the number of generations were and the acceptance count, and I can see that the notifications team maybe needs a little bit more coaching there. And so we're able to answer that question for that CTO. But it's not just about usage. We can also help you understand your tech stack. So down at the bottom of our dashboard, and also in that downloadable report, we have information about what models are being used most, what models are being used per language, as well as the acceptance and completion rates per language in order to really understand and optimize your tech stack around what model works best for what language. In the future, you'll be able to use custom agents to say, I want to be able to make sure that my JavaScript custom agent uses this particular model because we see that it gets the best results for our code and in our repos. Now that's just a start. At Talk, we're really focused on making sure that we have engagement and usage there. And in the coming months, we're going to add even deeper metrics around proficiency, velocity, output, and impact. We'll also enable you to blend that data with other data sources that you have for deeper end-to-end visibility for your business. If you want to learn more about Copilot Metrics and do an even deeper dive, check out the talk this afternoon, From Metrics to Impact. And now, back to you, Mario. Shazam!
Thank you, thank you. Kate showed you how you can unlock your SDLC. And by the way, I should probably get more coffee with Kate. She brings a lot of energy, so maybe triple espresso or something like that. So Todd showed you how you could measure it. And what I want to do today with you is make sure that you could also trust it. Now, the keynote painted a very clear picture about where our industry is headed. Agents are evolving from tools to collaborators, from tools to collaborators. They have access, they take actions, and just like developers, they need boundaries and defined responsibilities and oversight. So in the real world, you think about physical world, what do we have? Well, we have doors and we have locks to protect us. We also have alarm system as early indicators of a breach. Now, we did the same thing in the digital world. We need permissions, that key. We need policies, and a single pane of glass to manage agentic activity. And that is why I'm excited to announce our agent control plane. Come on. It's available today in public preview, and it's the beginning of this vision and this mission. I still remember a paper we wrote in February about it. It was to observe, audit, control, and customize your agentic platform. So if you think about it, if you listen to Kyle, if Agent HQ is where these agents live, the control plane is how you secure and govern them. So let's get into a very short demo. I have to take my glasses off to be able to do this. All right, we up? All right, perfect. This is great. So what I want to do, let me just refresh. What you're seeing at this moment, this is Avocado Core, that's the enterprise. And within the enterprise, we have added these AI controls. This is where you go in as the control plane to administer your agents. You can see we also have a way to do MCP administration as well. And we have a way for you to administer your licenses. So if I go here in Copilot, you're going to be able to see access management. This is where I administer my licenses, my content exclusion, my configure allowed models. This is very important for our enterprise customers. So if you want to go in and administer 4.5 or any of the Opus models or any of the GPT models, this is how you do it. And you can kind of roll with it. There's even more things like the ability to actually edit, have editor preview features. And at the end, one of my favorite ones is to actually make sure that you have metrics and billing also within it. So now, let's go back to agents, because this is where the important thing actually lies. And for me, Eric shows up. Eric works with me a lot, and he shows up in many of my demos. And he called this an agent aquarium. And I didn't like that, but he kind of kept going with that idea. So we'll see this a little bit later at the end. But let me show you in the control plane of agents what you're able to do. So we have these installed agents. This is where the future ones that you saw in the keynote are going to show up. So think about Codex, think about Cloud Code, and the other ones that we announced today as part of that Agent HQ will show up, and you're going to be able to just enable them across the organization as well. You have these custom agents, which is what Kate showed you, but you also have these auto logs, and this is important. Like if I go here, and I already have it populated for a second, you're gonna be able to see all of the activity across your entire enterprise of these agents and also your developers. So you can see over here, this is a Copilot agent session task that has started. You can see over here a pull request that got created as well on within, let's say, DSP testing in this repo overall. So in here, I could just go in and make sure you have a way to export it. You also can export the Git events that ended up happening within your repos in case you want to go in and audit that closely. Now, I think Kate showed you this. This is our GitHub private. And if I go here, and I go to agents, you see all those beautiful agents that Kate showed you, right? The Amplitude, the Arm migration, all the way to that Shazam overall. So if I go back to my AI controls, and I select custom agents, and I say standards, and here it is. I'm going to click on Avocado Enterprise Standards, and what that is going to be able to do, is going to make all of those agents available across the entirety of the enterprise. With just one click, you're going to be able to say, here are all the agents, custom agents that are made available to all of my developers across the entirety of the enterprise. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3. This is a live demo, by the way. There's no recording. So 1, 2, 3, say organization. And there they are, available to all of the enterprise. There is your Amplitude one, your Arm migration agent. They're all here enabled. And what that means to me is if I go anywhere now in GitHub and within that enterprise, I'm able to then select it and use it. I could also go ahead and take this away, and then no one is able to use those agents. Now, the cool thing about this, and the important thing about it as well, and this is why I love Git overall, is this is just a repo. Remember, I just showed you a repo. Now I could go here and edit a rule set, and I'm not going to edit this in real time and say, only enterprise owners can actually make changes to these agent files. So now you have a control. No one else can go in and create agents across the entire of your enterprise and make them available. You have a control to approve them. And if you want to add a new one, it's just a pull request. You approve that pull request as an enterprise owner, and that's it. It's available to everyone overall. So love that feature. Now, if we go back, let's go back. The other thing that I want to make sure is I want to show these agent sessions. So it seems like Eric has this Eric secret project, do not open. So let's see what he's up to. And in here, I'm able to see all of the agent sessions across my entire enterprise. Just think about that. I could just go to one place, a single pane of glass to go across them. So if I click on it, I'm able to go in very quickly. This is mission control. We show you this as well as part of the keynote. And what is he doing? He seems to be very enamored, if I go to the overview, with this aquarium thing. And I don't think I like it. You know, one thing that I could do if I want to play this very quickly, I could just go to code and say, open in VS Code Insiders. So let's do that really quick. Open in VS Code Insiders. And that's it. We just teleported to that session, and let's make sure that we got everything going. And here it is what he's doing. He has a README, and he has surprise environment HTML. Let's serve that surprise environment HTML really quick. I could also probably just go ahead and click on that. OK. It's not working, but we could probably save it overall. Let's see, where is this at? Let's go really quick. I think it's on my GH repos. And in that, what do we call it? Do not open. And it is going to be in the surprise environment. Let's open it over here. And there you go. This is what he's up to right now. So I don't like this at all. I think he needs to stop. So one of the quick things then that I could do over here is that I could go back into our licenses then in Copilot, and just to teach him a lesson on it, could go to access management, And where is Eric? You think we should do it? We should deny him of all of these permissions? I see, come on. I think I'm losing internet. And here he is, Eric. You know what is going to happen for you doing this? Well, I remove license for Copilot for you. So there you go. So here's going. So from one place, you could go in and administer not only your agents, you could also administer your developers. You could have an access log. You could have an audit log to it as well. And for me to see, I have to go and put my glasses on. If not, I don't know what I'm saying. There you go. So we remain obsessed then what really matters to you through that. And, for me, it's all about enabling collaboration and developers, between developers and agents, and increasing your productivity. That productivity increase, what really accelerating your innovation is what gets me out of bed. So now you've seen it. You've seen agents, you've seen metrics, you've seen governments. And these are the core primitives that we're going to extend expanding day in and day out for you. Now, our developers are already living in this future. Like, this is not something that is out there or years away. This right here is GitHub. And you're already seeing how our coding agent is the #1 contributor in it. And it has been since launch. So the SDLC is not static anymore, right? Like, I come back to this feeling of it's a garden. And it's a garden that is always evolving, with best practices that are emerging, with new tools, new ways of working, and a new collaboration platform assisting agentic development. So for me, that velocity, that developer productivity, informing stronger teams, and together each month defining that new work chapter, that's how we're going to go and redefine and really give you value across your entire enterprise. With that, I want to thank you. Have a happy universe, and let's build together.